You're watching Food Day, your late night show. And already seated in the studio and joining me now is Steve Orurua, who is the Deputy Chairman of the PDP in Enugu State. Steve, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. A very good evening to you.
Yeah, Steve, you were just sitting down. Our Zoom guest, Peter Ameh, who is the Secretary General of CUP, just joined us. So just give me a few minutes to talk with Peter. Peter, are you there? Welcome to Full Day.
I'm here. Can you hear me? Good evening.
Well, I understand you have some challenges. So, we're still glad that you were able to join. You know, Nigeria has become a country where some people say that the politicians have no principles, have no set of objectives. They can change like the chameleon, and that political parties have become convenient platforms to achieve individual goals. Is that your understanding of what we see all the time, people moving from one party to the other?
I think on a very large extent, this the scenario that is the truth. But the fact that there are still people who still believe in this principle of commitment to internal party structuring, party democratic processes as established constitution is 221, So there are people who still believe in this, but because our system is only driven by the quest and to have power and have authority to say I'm this and I'm that. If a society that does not work, a society that does not benefit the less privileged without knowing somebody, that is the kind of society you see such thing happen. And some people want to get into office just to be able to enjoy certain privileges that are not available to the common man. But there's very few set of people who do not really have core principles of how to, be democratically, stable or participate in democracy in a way to ensure to deepen the culture of those who have participated. So you have a situation where you don't have a system of government that when a party loses at the general election, all the members of the party have to go back to to the drawing board, and some people might not have the courage to stay for another 4 years because those who are in government will start to now use state resources to strengthen themselves. So naturally, by and large, the issue that is a societal one is the issue that we must all tackle headlong, and we must also commit to building a very good internal party structure that can be able to defend all this, because you cannot have a system that politicians are richer than those who work in public service. There is one of the the easiest way to get rich, where you see politicians who have never worked before. So this challenge is part of the issue. Political party just an opportunity to get to power. But if you look at it very well, it is meant to be able to bring service to the people. It is meant to be able to bring representative democracy to the people. It is meant to be able to develop the constituencies and districts that have been established by our constitution.
It's me to the topic we are looking at tonight, which has to do with coalitions and alliances for 2027 politics. Basically, people are leaving their old political parties, and El-Rufai is one perfect example. Some people say because he didn't get a ministerial position, because he's been sidetracked, because he has lost in the power game, he's now leading, a campaign for a new political party to challenge the ruling party. Do you think that what drives these politicians really is the good of the common man or the good of Nigeria? Or is it this coalitions and alliances, are they just based on pecuniary individual interests?
A lot of people, look, for me, I want to be fair. I wish any very fast ministerial appointment today with the Tinubu administration, he will be here struggling with us in the opposition. No, to be sincere, that you know the answer as much as everybody, all our viewers watching, and that he will still be there in the government. I think we don't want a situation where government looks as if when we don't get opportunity, we go against those who have rejected us for not having that opportunity. So and that also play down on those who are very serious minded, who have committed themselves to opposition politics. Politics is just if people want to be able to call it all sort of name to to dim the definition of what politics is. Politics is a means of trying to engage the society and through dialogue, through whatever means is possible, to make them see you as somebody who can represent the interest of the larger population, larger populace, and then do things in the interest of the general populace. So if you have a situation where people get aggrieved and use the masses as a pattern to fight their own struggle, and when they get aggrieved and when they are in power, they develop table manners. It's not going to be good for our democracy. It's not going to. And if you look at it, there are a lot of people who don't believe in him. There are a lot of people. I used to believe in him. I used to because I saw what he did in Abuja. But with the kind of character that people are now developing in this process, we at least want to so much doubt to see whether this. But there are not still many people who still want that this opposition coalition you are seeing. It is for the best interest of our democracy. It is for the best interest of our own people because you can never have a system that works perfectly when you have one party dominating 90% of the society. You can never have that work because a system that has no alternative views or to be able to, a system that has no, a that could challenge their policies and programs that are not yielding results and probably drawing Nigeria into recession, into depression, and into economic downturn. That system will continue to go spiral down. So, but if you have an opposition system that works, or a coalition that have come together for the better interest of the people, not for the purpose of capturing power like the APC have done in 2015 and today.
I was going there in 2014, leading us into 2015. We saw the creation of that mega coalition of APC that became APC. And Nigerians were excited. And after the election and the party came into power, I don't think a lot of Nigerians have so much to say about the success of that coalition that gave birth to the APC. So what assurances do we have that if this coalition by any chance is able to capture power, that the lot of Nigerians will be better? Any assurances?
I think I've seen candidates that have financial money management, because one of the greatest things that Nigeria suffers from is the waste of our resources, is the overbloated size of government expenditure, and we see people who have capacity to be able to handle such things. So this will be totally different. This is not about power capture. A lot of people have said that if you listen to a lot of the coalition members, some of them have said, look, they will participate in this process if it's just about for the mere purpose of capturing power. So the key things for this one is that people have tested the previous people for 18 years. They have tested the other people now. By 2027, it will be 12 years. So people are trying to look for a system that we can be able to establish with people who have competence, people who have merit, who have capacity. The person must not come from the north. The person must not come from the east. The person must not come from wherever the person comes from. It must have this ingredients that are mentioned that can help our nation to transform his human capital and huge resources base that we have, and yet we are still having 129 million people living in multi-dimensional poverty that represent 56% of our population. We can do better, and I think that we should be able to create a nation where inequality, and qualitative representation becomes an issue, because people don't like to be able to say this. It's a country that still determine divide its people between minority and majority can never have the kind of stable government that they need, because it is about the.
Can you tell me sincerely? Can you be very realistic? Can you tell me I mean, looking at all the indices, looking at the power game, looking at the APC, looking at the PDP and the other parties, and then looking at this seeming coalition that is coming, can you tell me sincerely that you can fairly predict that this coalition can defeat the APC in 2027?
That were put in place in 2023. If you look at what Obi did in the South alone, Obi scored down 44.5% of the vote cast in Southwest, South, and Southeast. 44.5%. Bola Tinubu, who was coming from a political party that has all the apparatus of state, that has all the most majority of the governors and the House of Rep, in the South scored 35.5%. The only reason Bola Tinubu became president, despite the rigging that they did, was because the North, where Atiku comes from, Atiku could not hold sway to be able to shut them down. So the majority of his vote came from the North, about 60% of the vote he got. And even in the North, between Kwankwaso and Obi got 15.2%. I've avoided not to say about people. But the truth is that if you put this data that I've mentioned together and you support, because this is supposed to remain in the South, we need to be strategic. Opposition to be strategic thinking going forward. If you put the remaining South and you contest with Bola Tinubu, I am sure before 12 o'clock we will defeat Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The opposition will defeat him, and it is on record that it has happened before, and it will be easier now because it's opposition against hunger, against bad leadership, against the level of infection, against the cost of buying fuel, the cost of buying energy, whatever energy. Whether electricity, whether it's to buy fuel for your car, these costs have skyrocketed beyond 300%. So we cannot be telling me that these people, the way people are thinking now, and the way the society is, and the way the poverty is the country is driving on autopilot. That we have a president that is globetrotting. You can't tell me that it's going to be a difficult thing to defeat him. I don't think so.
Okay, Peter. I'd like to thank you, and I like your optimism. Thank you for joining us. Peter Ameh, Secretary General of the Coalition of United Political Parties.